Alright, this is where I'm at, guys, and as you can kind of see in the picture, you see here that she's got those two little, sideburn pieces coming down over the ears, and I want to make those as well, but I got to be very careful because if I'm sculpting her and I'm working her out and I do these pieces and I break them, it makes life harder. So something like this you want to do at the end of the project, so I got to kind of I got to get the figure going first. I got to really get this all done. So this is where I'm at with her, as you can kind of see. So I have to do the knee pads and I got to do the armor. So I'm going to focus on getting that stuff done first. And once that's done, I can actually really finish up the hair because I don't have to worry about, turning her upside down, flipping her, sculpting her, sanding her, doing all this other stuff. So this is where we're at with the hair. Now what I did is I made some marks here underneath the hair where, she would have a hairline. So you could kind of see what I'm working with here. So, right here where, we got a little bit of hair that would be underneath the piece as well. And then the sideburn stuff here. Now, I'm not going to use a piece of metal. I'll probably use a piece of brass and sculpt onto the brass coming down. But the problem is, like I said, I want to get the figure done first. And then we have some hairline coming underneath the hair as well, in the back of the head. So you got to have some kind of a hairline coming here. You don't have to. They didn't do it with this statue because the hair was so bulky on top of it. But with this one, it kind of helps to have them both interlocking with each other. And then, I'm doing the same part over here. Let's see, get a little bit closer. So I'm doing the same thing around here. I'll have the bang and the piece coming down. And then, we're getting there though. So one of the other things too is I realized, I think I may have said earlier in the videos, but I don't remember. I should have had a piece of bar coming all the way down and then around here because there's a little extra piece that comes over here. And I didn't realize it because some of the pictures that I was going off it was hidden. But that's not a problem. What I'll do is I'll Dremel into here a little bit and then I'll put another rod over here once I get them in the mail. And then I can have all the hair. But it's a good thing I probably didn't because I would have been snapping and breaking it. So we're just going along and the hair's working out pretty good. So that's where we're at. And now this side might be a little bit lower than this side, but once I start sculpting your hair and I start working everything out, it'll come together. And the good thing is you don't want this side completely even with this side because if you're doing like a 3D sculpt and you just take the side and you flip it, it doesn't look right. You want to have some kind of variation to make it look a little bit more natural. So that's what I'm going to run with on that. That's where we're at. Keep plugging away and hopefully we'll get this done soon. Alright, going to work out the bangs and the hair underneath the hair with these little bangs that come down and stuff. I decided it's best to work that out first and then I can do all this detailing of the hair because once everything is flush going onto the head, the rest is easier because I can actually pull it off the head, sculpt the hair, put it back on. I don't have to worry too much about it, but underneath here is going to be a little bit of a pain. So what I did was, they might fall out, it's okay. I Dremeled a hole in the side of the head there, as you can see, and I just got this metal rod and I just put it like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue that in and then I'm going to sculpt hair. Let's get this, we can sculpt hair because this is kind of, it's a little bit more realistic than a cartoon. So, the bang will come down and then the hair will come up like around there like that. So I can give a little bit of hair thickness around in here. And then this little piece will come down with that. So that's pretty much what I'm coming up with. So by this piece coming down here and there, this hair's built up, everything's done, should come flush, and it should work out pretty good. And then I could start, kind of sanding this down a little bit more if I have to, and I can start sculpting all this detail and getting the hair done. And that's pretty much where I'm at with that. Alright, so off camera, I had to do this a little bit better off camera. It's just very hard to stand up and looking at this when I can't have it in my lap and doing it. So, I just went off camera, got it all sculpted up. So, I wanted to make sure nothing's sitting on the side over there, nothing's sitting on the side over here, and we're looking pretty good. Now, this one has like a little bit of a curl to it, and that's kind of what I want to do for, both sides. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this cure overnight. I'm not going to push my luck, because every time I try to sculpt on it, because it's on that metal rod, it twists and stuff. So I'm going to let it dry overnight, cure, come back tomorrow, sand it down a little bit, and then I can add some kind of like a little detail like I did with this side, and I can do it over there as well. But once I start sculpting all the hair, a lot of that will get hitting underneath, so I don't need to worry about that except for the strands coming down. So looking pretty good. I like the way it's coming out. We're getting those two little strands and stuff, and she's getting there. Okay, so I did that side of her, and I've been messing around with it. I had to take off the camera because I had to get in closer because it's very hard to sculpt some of the detailing stuff far away. So I pulled off the hair, I had it in my hand, and I was doing some sculpting. I made sure it was going in and out of the head all right. So what I have to do is I'm going to let this cure for the night, and then I could kind of sand down the inside and kind of work out some detailing in the inside next. But I'm not really worried about that. My main goal is to make sure it goes in and out of the head without hitting anything. So, you know, looking at the artwork and kind of coming up with my own little thing, I did the first half. So I figured it's easier to do this half first, and then I can do this side because I have to hold it and everything. So I'm holding it from here and here, but it's working out pretty good. Of course, I'm doing my own little take on it. While I was working on it, and then what I do is I put it on my shelf. I'll try to do it in the camera. What I do is I take like a couple feet away, and then I kind of block it. So I just kind of want to see like where I'm going with the hair and how it's looking. So you kind of block it and you kind of get a feel that okay, it's high enough because you know where the skull would go and the hair. Plus, you know, she has a lot of hair, so when you're doing this ponytail look and it's kind of hair, you got to have it kind of flow up a little bit. So then like when I would have it on this side, I kind of just block out that area with my thumb just to kind of see where I'm at. And then when I'm looking at it over here, I'm looking at the picture online with the cartoon and I see that it comes up just a little bit above the eyes, but you still see the face and everything, so I'm trying to line it all up, you know. And of course with the back, you can't really have it just come to the point. Like if you block it from there, as you see, then like it doesn't look right. So you have to have the hair kind of flow underneath of a little bit, so it's going to be like flowing up there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap red rope around here, or blue rope, I forget what color, or black, I forgot what color, you know, and then I'll do the same thing when I do it over here. But yeah, so it's just working out pretty good. And I figured what's going to happen is I would do the hair and then this way, and then what I'll have to do is I'll have to drum out inside and kind of detail in there. But other than that, it's looking pretty good and it's kind of the way I want it. So you know, let this cure up overnight and then we'll start plugging away on the next side. Alright, so as you saw, I got this side done. I tried doing it in the camera, but there's just times I got to detail something within my hands, in my lap, and in front of me, and I can't get the camera there, and I got to really focus on the item. So I've done some hair sculpts in the past videos, so you can check those out, you know, of really doing some stuff. But it's just a matter of doing the same thing here. Is, you know, this was all just sculpted in wavy lines, whereas this is the same thing over here. Now, you know, this is not completely even with this, and the same thing in the front. You know, it's not, you know, that's not looking exactly like that, but that's fine because, you know, if you know, when a woman puts her hair up like this side's not going to be exactly like that side. And I know in 3D sculpting you can make it all look perfectly uniform and stuff, but, you know, adding something a little bit different here, a little bit different there, that's what makes the hair really pop. I also made sure that the hair does not hit the ear at all, so I wanted to make sure I don't rip anything out. I put a lot of baby powder underneath in here, over in here, just in case, because I wanted to make sure that, you know, nothing really goes. there's a lot of residue around in here. I've been trying to take some of this out, but I'm gonna have to clean this up a little bit. I gotta just go through it all. I also had a lot of residue up in here by the star. I had to scrape some of that out again, which I'll probably scrape out some more. I have to sand down this you know, bang area anyway, because it's coming out too far. It's gotta, you know, it's going to, the bangs come out here and then it swoops down to the crown, so I gotta take that down a little bit. Now, just to make sure I don't screw anything up now, I want to make sure I put this on like that. And she's looking pretty good. I'm happy with the way it's looking. You know, we got a nice flow going. So once it's all set up, I'll be able to hold this piece in firmly, and I can sculpt all this hair over here. Next step will be is once this is all cleaned up, I'm going to sand a little bit underneath of this side, and then what I'll do is I'll do the detailing in here. I'll fix this bang area. I'll do the detailing in there, and make sure everything's going on the head perfectly fine. And then I can do these little sideburn pieces, detail those up, and then once all that's done, I can hold this piece in the hand and I could do all this here. So I'll be able to put another piece of bar underneath in here so I could get the little tiny tip of the hair back here, and I could do all this sculpting. And I could probably do a little bit better video showing this because I'll be able to hold this and I can just focus on that area. It's hard to do this because it's going in and out of the head and everything. But all in all, it's looking pretty good. I'm happy with the way it looks. Just to make sure, you know, I'm looking at the cartoon, that the bangs come like that, and then you can see the whole nose, you can see the mouth, and then the sideburns. And I wanted to make sure I'm doing the same thing over here. So the bang comes in front of the eye, but you see the nose, mouth, and that. So like I said, I'm following the cartoon as much as possible. Most of the statue is pretty much ready to go, except one more knee pad. And yeah, so just going to keep plugging away. We'll come back, we'll finish up all this stuff, and get the statue done.